Moving to Portland, Oregon, 2024. There's a handful of other videos like this that have been done in the past. This is going to be new, updated information for 2024 and beyond. And it's going to be some things maybe you haven't heard online. No, we're not going to talk about the rain and all those things and the gray skies. You already know about that stuff if you're watching this video. I want to get into a few things that you probably don't know about. Stick around. All right, first thing we're going to talk about 2024, moving to Portland, politics. Yes, I'm going to go there, although I will say I don't normally like to talk about these things, at least not in this forum. There's a time and a place to debate these types of things, and if you feel the need to comment below, I just ask that please keep it civil, please keep it respectful. I always like to try and keep things positive. I know it's going to be hard to do when you're talking about politics in Portland. A lot of criticisms. A lot of those criticisms are probably valid, probably agree with you on a lot of those things, but there's probably another place to have that debate. Right now, I just want to inform you about some of the changes that we're going to see moving forward. All right, so first thing here, this is straight from the city's website. What's going to change with politics in 2024? There's going to be three new changes. First thing is going to be, there's going to be ranked choice voting. If you're not familiar with ranked choice voting, I think most people that that you would explain ranked choice voting to are in favor of it. And what it is you choose more than one candidate, you rank your candidates, let's say there's 5 of them, and then the candidate, let me back up a second. If none of the candidates get over the majority of the vote, over 50% of the vote, then they take the candidate that has the fewest votes, and the people that voted for that candidate, they take all of those people's second place votes and redistribute those to the other remaining candidates. And then if you then have over 50%, then you'll choose a winner. If not, you'll continue to do so, choosing the candidate that has the fewest votes and redistributing to the rest of the field. I think this kind of alleviates the choosing of a lesser of two evils that maybe some people, they felt like they've experienced recently, or at least in recent years. So ranked choice voting is the first change that's going to come to Portland. The second one, and I'm just going to read this is from the city's website. They're going to establish 4 geographic districts, and there's going to be 3 city council members for each district. Currently there's 5 city council members, so we'll have 12 city council members in total as opposed to 5. And then the next thing that the city has on its 3-point list is they're going to establish a city council that focuses on setting policy and engaging with community, transitioning day-to-day oversight of bureaus to a mayor-elected citywide and professional city administrator. So sounds like they're transferring some power away from unelected bureaucrats to the mayor and to a professional city administrator. Not really sure exactly what that means, but I think it's usually a good thing for our elected officials to have as much power as they can, as opposed to unelected officials. So kind of sounds like a good thing, but I guess we'll wait and see how that actually plays out. And then to piggyback off of that, on the city's website, what it says is budget adjustments for charter reform. So the city of Portland has passed an ordinance for the fiscal years of 2024-25 and 25-26 to adjust budget levels in response to the charter reform approved by the voters. This includes changes in the roles and responsibilities of the mayor and the newly expanded city council. So that'll be effective January 1st, 2025. So we're going to have about a year to implement that. These adjustments reflect the new organizational structure within the new form of government and are aimed at providing more certainty to bureaus in developing their budgets. It goes on to say that these changes reflect Portland's efforts to address housing shortages, restructure its political system for better representation, and to align its budget with the new government structure. These developments indicate a city in transition, adapting to changing needs and priorities of its residents. Now, when I hear adjust budgets, the first thing that comes into mind is we're probably going to be paying more taxes. I don't think that they're going to adjust the budget downward and reduce the budget so that we're paying less taxes. So that's kind of one thing that jumps out at me. But these political changes that I wanted to point out to you, hopefully are going to have some impact and impact some of the change that a lot of people have really been asking for over the last couple of years. All right, and that's going to take me right into the next thing, which is taxes. So taxes. I've heard a handful of people that have moved to Portland over the years say this, which is they wish that they had known taxes were going to be, I guess, as high as they are, because Portland is actually one of the highest tax cities in the country, only second to New York. And I believe in New York, you have to hit $25 million of income to hit that highest tax bracket. And specifically, what those taxes are is there's a preschool tax that is designed to provide preschool to all in Multnomah County, which is a really great thing, of course. I think a lot of people were in favor of this, which is the reason why it got voted in. What you're looking at is for single filers, $125,000 of income beyond will be taxed at an additional 1.5%, $250,000 for joint income earners. Once you get to $250,000 for single, that goes up to 3%. For joint filers, it's $400,000 before you get to 3%. And then there's an additional Metro Supportive Housing Services tax, which is 1% for single earners, $125,000 and over, and 1% for joint filers, $200,000 and over. So for all of you high income earners, this is something that you might want to take into account. And I want to specify that this is just for Multnomah County. This is not for Clackamas or Washington County, which makes up the Portland metropolitan area. And this is one of the reasons why sometimes people will move to Vancouver, Washington on the other side of the border. They have no state income taxes there. So what the play is there is those state income taxes, those are offset by high sales taxes. So people that live in like a Vancouver just across the border, they'll live and work in Washington, but do a lot of their shopping in Oregon to save on that sales tax. And we do help people buy homes in Washington. We're licensed in both the state of Oregon and Washington. And by the way, welcome back to the channel, or if you're not familiar with this channel, Living in Oregon. My name is Seth Marchant. I'm a licensed broker in the state of Oregon, helped a lot of people relocate to the state of Oregon. And like mentioned, we do Washington as well. If you're somebody that's thinking about taking the next steps, if you have questions, anything at all, I invite you to call, text, or email. You can find all of our contact information in the description below. You can always hit that QR code. That'll take you to our website where you can find all of our contact information, as well as a lot of other things about us, including other videos from our channel. And the next thing you're going to want to know, I'm not going to talk about the rain like I promised you, but I am going to talk a little bit about weather, because there are some important things that you literally probably are going to want to know that you might not know if you haven't been here before, or maybe if you haven't been here recently. We're just coming off of one of the worst storms of my lifetime. And if you want to watch that video, if you want to see a little bit more there, Paul did a video on that just this past week. What made it so bad? Well, we were all hoping for snow like we always do in Portland, so everybody can take a snow day, take a day off, maybe take the kids sledding, things like that. But instead what we got was a lot of really cold temperatures and ice. And the problem with ice is that once it freezes everything, some trees start coming down, power starts going out, roads start getting blocked. Portland already shuts down quite a bit when we have snow or ice. But it's a whole nother ballgame when you don't have power, at least for a couple of days. Somebody actually commented on our video and made a really great point. I can't articulate it as well as they did, but one thing that they pointed out was a lot of shallow root systems and really freezing cold weather. We had a lot of precipitation, a lot of moisture leading up until then, and then it got really cold, like into the teens. So freezing ground, shallow root system led to a lot of massive trees falling down. More big trees fell in this past week, and they're still down everywhere around the city, than I've probably seen in the rest of my entire lifetime. And we did actually have another pretty bad ice storm a couple years ago in 2021. I got stuck in my house for 4 or 5 days. I think we were without power for 4 days. I actually had a one month old at that time, and we survived by living around our fireplace. We have a gas fireplace, and a lot of gas fireplaces, if your electricity is out, there's a little place in the bottom where you can take off that bottom skirt there, and you can get to a place where there's batteries that you can, there's a place where you can actually add some batteries so you can get that thing turned on. And so even though the power is out, we still had our fireplace, and that was what kept us warm through a half week, maybe 4, 5, 6 days of freezing temperatures. And so the reason why I want to point this out is because a lot of people that I know have since 2021 bought generators. If you're somebody that can't go without power for more than a day or two and you're moving to Portland, you may want to consider a generator. And if you're worried about internet, if you haven't heard of this, I would suggest looking at Starlink internet. A lot of internet was down for people around the Portland metropolitan area, not for the people that had Starlink though. All right, next one that's been in the news so much in the past. How's the crime and the homelessness situation? Well, usually you're not going to hear real estate agents weighing in on this, especially if they're speaking directly to a client. So if you're a client of mine and you ask me this, really can't weigh in directly about crime, but speaking to you as a YouTube audience, as a broad general audience, we can talk a little bit about these things, including statistics. And the data has not yet come out for this past month in December, but it's looking like homicides, which is one of the big numbers that people sort of correlate with how the overall crime situation is going. Homicides are going down, and it does look like crime probably peaked maybe sometime in 2022 or early 2023, and is since coming back down. So the data is showing that crime's coming down. I think anecdotally things sound a little bit better. There's a handful of surveys that have been done with the residents of Portland to ask them how they feel about things. You're gonna find a lot of the complaints are coming from East Portland, like East Multnomah County, like out towards Gresham, that area. But all in all, things seem to be trending better. As far as homelessness and cleanliness, it appears there are steps that are being taken to remedy those situations as well. In other words, they've banned camping, so there's not campers everywhere now. Clean up a lot of the places where people have set up tent cities and RVs and things like that. How much have they helped these people and where have these people gone? I'm not exactly sure. I don't know if we have that information or data available to us yet. The hope would be that we're just not just shuffling people around, but all in all, crime, homelessness, cleanliness, things look a little bit cleaner. Supposedly the homeless people are getting more support and they're not as prominent, camped out everywhere. It is a problem to have sidewalks that are just full of tents. People with disabilities, of course, can't use those sidewalks. They have to go to the street. Not safe to do. And then the crime, looking at the statistics, seems to be ticking down. And we do have some videos that go over the crime statistics if you want to check out our channel and look at those. All right, next, the real estate market. Again, I'm a licensed broker. There is no broker-renter relationship in the state of Oregon. If you're renting, you're going to reach directly out to an owner or to a landlord. Can't help you with that. If you have a question, I'd be happy to answer. Send me an email. But for all you people that are thinking about buying, what is the market like right now? Well, it's about as balanced as we've seen it. So it's really going to be case by case. In other words, it's going to be county by county, neighborhood by neighborhood, and home by home. We are still seeing some competitive situations where there's multiple offers, and those situations do tend to be with properties that are the most move-in ready, properties that don't need anything, and typically properties that are going to be closest to the average price point, which in Portland, somewhere around $500,000, around $500,000 or so. Not to say that you can't see competition in other places, but that's primarily where we're still seeing competition. Aside from that though, a lot of buyers are getting under contract without competing offers. So in those cases, sellers are typically willing to concede things such as buying down your interest rate, covering your closing costs, or of course just reducing the purchase price. Interest rates have really dominated the story and impacted the market the greatest over this past year beyond inventory. We're expecting interest rates to go down over this next year. They've kind of been ticking down towards the end of 2023. If they do go down, I expect the market to be a little bit more competitive. Some people think it'll free up more inventory and thus it'll be less competitive because we'll have enough inventory. I'm not one of those people. And if you're a buyer worrying about competition, it's definitely not going to be as competitive as 2022 or definitely not 2021. We're talking about running into a couple of different offers, not 12 or 20 different offers like some houses saw in 2021. So if you're worried about that, I'd say it's probably definitely better than the last couple of years, but we do have strategies to avoid competition. Get in touch with us if you want to talk about those strategies. And on the note of buying a home, jobs, how's the job market? It is pretty strong here. Oregon and Portland in general saw job growth in 2023. I will say though that the vacancy rate in downtown Portland has been high, has been up. So I don't know that the jobs have necessarily grown in Multnomah County, but for the Portland metro area, when you consider Washington County and Clackamas County, we have seen job growth. A lot of the jobs are out towards Beaverton, Hillsborough, which is Washington County. Clackamas County is Milwaukee, Westland, Happy Valley, Lake Oswego, Oregon City, kind of south-southeast of Portland. Washington is more south-southwest. That is where Nike and Intel are, also known as the Silicon Forest. And Portland last year ranked as number 6th, as the 6th best place in the country for remote workers. So the job market here remains strong, even though Multnomah County actually saw a population decline this past year for the first time in decades. Just got a couple more quick ones for you. Tolls, that's on the radar for some people. That's been postponed. Our governor shelved that until 2026. I don't know that they're going to be scrapped altogether. There's been projects that are currently ongoing with roads and bridges that are supposed to be paid for by those tolls. But as of right now, we were expecting maybe to have tolls in 2024. Looks like it's going to happen at 2026 at the very earliest, if it does happen. And then finally, if you are moving here, especially coming from outside of the state, you might be flying here, and PDX has been undergoing some renovations. PDX was actually named by Travel and Leisure magazine as the #1 airport just a couple years ago. It's always been one of the top airports in the country. I've always had great experiences there. I haven't been there since they've done any of the work. I've only seen pictures. Looks like it's going to be awesome, but you may experience some longer wait times or some things that come with construction. So something to take into account when you're traveling here. I'm sure anybody that's arranging for your travel for you, or however you're arranging for your travel, there will probably be notices, but just something to keep on the radar. Hope that helps you get ready for moving to Portland in 2024. Again, my name's Seth Marchant. I invite you to reach out to me if you'd like to talk about buying a home. If this video helped you, give me a thumbs up. Lets me know I'm doing a good job. Feel free to weigh in on the comments if there's something you think I missed, if there's something else you want to point out, if you want to weigh in on anything I said, feel free. We'll reply back. Like I said, just keep it civil. And if you want to see more videos about what it's like to live in Portland, we've got a lot of neighborhood videos, got a lot of drone tours, driving tours. We've got over 100 videos on our channel. Make sure and subscribe. Until next time, take care, everyone.